Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we are tackling a massive piece of legislation, one that's already sending ripples across the globe, the EU AI Act.
Regulation 2024-1689, to be exact.
Right. And this isn't just for the tech giants. The truth is, this affects nearly every small and medium business out there because, well, who isn't using AI today?
That's the mission for this deep dive. We're not going to read you the legal text. We're here to cut through the jargon and give you, the SMB leader, the essential playbook. What you need to know and what you need to do, well, starting yesterday.
The goal itself sounds good, making AI ethical, safe, transparent.
All while trying not to kill innovation. But the key thing, the part that catches everyone, is the applicability.
Let's be really clear about this. Who does this apply to?
Okay, so think of it this way. It doesn't matter where your company is based. If you develop an AI tool, or even just use an AI tool, and its output affects anyone in the EU market, a customer, an employee, anyone, you are on the hook.
So it's a global law in practice.
It's absolutely a global law. The net is cast very, very wide.
And when we say SMBs, just for our listeners, what's the definition we're using?
We're using the EU's. So that's any enterprise with fewer than 250 employees and an annual turnover under 50 million euros.
And there's an even smaller category, right?
Yes, micro enterprises. So under 10 employees, tiny turnover, they get some simplified paths, which is a really important detail we'll get to.
Okay, here's the kicker. We're in late 2025. This is not some future problem. Parts of this act are already the law of the land.
That's the urgency. The clock has been ticking for months. The time to figure out what AI you're using and classify it is right now. If you wait, you'll be playing a very expensive game of catch-up.
All right, let's dive into the core of the act then, this tiered system based on risk. It's the whole backbone of the regulation.
It is. It's a ladder, really. The more potential harm an AI can cause, the stricter the rules get. Simple as that.
And tier 1 is the simplest of all because it's just banned. Unacceptable risk.
Exactly. These have been illegal since February of this year, 2025. The EU has decided these systems are just fundamentally incompatible with, basic human rights.
So if you're using them, you have to stop immediately.
Stop immediately. And the fines here, as you can imagine, are the most severe.
What should an SMB be looking for when they audit their tools? What are the biggest red flags in this banned category?
First, anything that uses manipulative or deceptive techniques to distort behavior. Second, and this is a big one, social scoring.
So not just for governments, but any company system that ranks customers based on their general social behavior.
Precisely. Also banned is most real-time biometric identification in public places. But the one that I think will catch a lot of businesses is AI for emotion inference in the workplace or in education.
Okay, break that down. So if I'm a small company using a hiring tool that claims it can tell if a candidate is being sincere by analyzing their face on a video call,
that's very likely banned. The Act says you cannot use AI to infer complex emotional or mental states in these high-stakes contexts because the technology is just too flawed and too biased.
it causes real harm.
It causes real harm. So audit those vendor contracts now.
Okay, moving down the ladder. Tier 2, high risk. This seems to be where the real work is for most businesses.
This is where most of the compliance effort will be. These systems aren't banned, but they are subject to really strict rules before they can ever be deployed.
And what makes something high risk?
It's any AI that could seriously impact someone's safety, their fundamental rights, or their livelihood. The Act has a specific list in what's called Annex 3.
Give us some examples that an average SMB might be using without even realizing it's high risk.
Human capital is the big one. Any AI used for recruitment, sifting through resumes, evaluating candidates, even performance management tools, that's high risk.
Because it impacts someone's ability to get a job.
Exactly. Same goes for credit scoring or any AI that determines access to essential services. Even a small logistics company using an AI to manage critical supply chain routes could fall into this category if it impacts public safety.
So what's the burden? Why is it so much tougher for these systems?
It's all about proving it's safe before it's used. The provider has to conduct what's called a conformity assessment. Think of it like getting safety certification for an electronic device.
That sounds incredibly expensive and technical for a small team.
It is intensive, yeah. It means having a rock-solid risk management system, proving your data governance is up to scratch, and maintaining tons of technical documentation.
You mentioned data governance. Why is the EU so focused on the data used to train the AI?
Because garbage in, garbage out. If your AI is making high-stakes decisions, the data it was trained on has to be relevant, representative, and checked for biases.
So if my credit scoring model was only trained on data from one demographic,
It's going to systematically fail or discriminate against everyone else. The Act forces you to prove your data is fair to prevent that kind of systemic harm. It's a direct line from a technical requirement to a social good.
I see. Okay, so what's next? Tier 3, limited risk.
This is much lighter. It's all about transparency. Basically, if a human is interacting with an AI, they need to know it.
So my customer service chatbot needs a little label saying, you're talking to a bot.
Yep. Or if you're generating marketing images with AI, deepfakes or other synthetic media, it has to be labeled as machine generated. Just simple disclosure.
Easy enough. And Tier 4, minimal risk.
This is almost everything else. Your spam filter, basic inventory prediction, AI in a video game. No new rules apply, though they do encourage voluntary codes of conduct.
Okay, that framework is crystal clear. Now let's talk roles,
Mm.
because it's not just about the people who build the AI.
No, and this is so important. There are two key roles for an SMB provider and deployer. The provider builds the AI and places it on the market. They carry the heaviest burden, that conformity assessment we talked about.
But the role that I think is going to surprise people is the deployer.
That's the one. A deployer is just anyone who uses an AI system in a professional capacity. So if you buy a high-risk HR tool from a big vendor, you are now a deployer under the law.
And here's the aha moment, right? You can't just assume the vendor handled everything.
You absolutely cannot. You have your own set of duties.
So wait, let me get this straight. If I'm a small business and I buy a major, off-the-shelf, high-risk AI tool, I still have legal obligations. Why?
Because the provider can't control how you actually use it in your specific workplace. As the deployer, you have to ensure there is effective human oversight.
What does that mean in practice?
It means you have a documented process for a person to review, intervene, and, if necessary, override the AI's decision before it can cause harm. You also have to monitor the system's performance in your context.
Give me an example of monitoring.
Okay, imagine you're using an AI for delivery routes. Monitoring means you check to see if the AI, in an effort to be efficient, is constantly sending trucks through a quiet residential neighborhood at 4 a.m., causing a nuisance. The AI is doing what it was told, but in your context, it's creating a problem. You have to spot that and report serious incidents.
So buying a high-risk tool isn't just a purchase. It's an ongoing operational responsibility.
It's a regulatory partnership. That's the mind shift.
All right, let's put this on a calendar. We're in November 2025. What's the immediate action plan based on the deadlines?
So some things are already done. The ban on unacceptable AI, that was February 2025. The basic rules for general-purpose AI models, August 2025.
So the providers of those big foundation models are already on the hook for documenting their training data.
Correct. But the big one, the major deadline for everyone else, is August 2nd, 2026.
Less than 9 months from now.
Less than 9 months. That's when the full compliance obligations for most high-risk systems, the recruitment tools, the credit scoring, all of that kicks in.
And the final phase.
August 2027. That's mostly for AI inside already regulated products, like medical devices. But for most SMBs listening, August 2026 is the date that matters.
Okay, that is a tight deadline. Which brings us to strategy. For a small business with limited resources, how do you even begin to tackle this?
It starts with a 5-step plan, and you have to start now.
Step 1 has to be just figuring out what you have.
Yes. Map your AI footprint. You need a full inventory of every single AI system you use, whether you built it or bought it, and you have to classify it into one of those 4 risk tiers.
Once you've identified your high-risk systems, what's next?
Data governance and human oversight. We've talked about these, but you need to turn them into actual documented processes. For data, you need to know where it came from and ensure it's not biased. For humans, you need to define who can override the AI and how.
And that documentation piece feels like the biggest hurdle.
It can be, but the EU knows this, which is why they've built in some help. For microenterprises specifically, there will be simplified documentation templates provided by the EU.
A lifeline.
A huge lifeline. The point is to start collecting the information now, even in a simple spreadsheet, so you're ready when those templates arrive.
And of course, you need to train your people.
Non-negotiable. Your HR team, your IT team, even your sales team. They need to know what's banned, what's high risk, and what their role is in overseeing these tools.
This still sounds like a massive undertaking. Is there any other practical support for SMBs?
Yes, and this is probably the biggest strategic advantage available: regulatory sandboxes.
Okay, tell us about those.
These are controlled environments, either physical or virtual, where you can test your high-risk AI with direct guidance from regulators, and SMBs get priority. often free access.
It's like a subsidized R&D lab with a legal expert on hand.
Exactly. But here's the killer feature: a temporary exemption from fines. If you're testing in a sandbox in good faith and something goes wrong, you don't get hit with a multi-million euro penalty. You get constructive advice on how to fix it.
That completely de-risks the innovation process.
Yeah. It's a game changer. It turns compliance from a pure cost center into a competitive advantage. These have to be up and running in all member states by August 2026, so you should be looking for them now.
Okay, let's talk stakes. The why. What happens if you don't comply?
Well, the stick is enormous. For using banned AI or for major breaches with high-risk systems, the fines go up to 35 million euros or 7% of your global annual turnover.
Whichever is higher.
Whichever is higher. 7% of global turnover can shut a business down. That's even more than GDPR.
Wow. And for smaller mistakes.
Even for things like poor documentation, you're still looking at fines up to 15 million euros or 3% of turnover. And beyond fines, authorities can just pull your product from the entire EU market.
That covers the stick. Let's end on the carrot. How can you frame this as a strategic benefit?
Because it is. Getting compliant is the fastest way to build trust with customers, with partners, with investors. In a world nervous about AI, being able to prove your systems are safe and ethical is a massive brand enhancer.
It's a seal of quality.
It's a seal of quality that guarantees you market access across 27 countries. The companies that get this right, the ones who join the sandboxes now, they're going to leapfrog the competition.
So the act is really pushing AI to be treated like any other product with safety standards. It's not optional, but the system is designed with pathways to help smaller players succeed.
It is. We know high-risk AI, like for hiring or credit, touches fundamental rights. And the August 2026 deadline is breathing down our necks. So I want to leave you with one final thought.
Go for it.
Forget the official list for a moment. I want you to ask yourself this. What piece of AI automation is running in your organization right now? Something you probably think is low risk, that if it failed today, could immediately cost an employee their job or a customer their financial stability?
That's a powerful question.
That's where you start your audit. Start with the things that can cause immediate, tangible human harm. That's the true spirit of this act.
A perfect, actionable place to end. Thank you for joining us for this essential deep dive. We'll see you next time.